The poor old rhino is getting a lot of media attention lately. The already endangered species is being pushed to the edge of extinction thanks to some misguided notion that something in its horn will cure whatever ails you, which is of course complete rubbish. Similarly, the Audi A4 Avant is also being pushed to the edge of extinction in South Africa because of a similar misguided notion. Quite simply, South Africans just don't get station wagons, and when we're in the market for a car with space, we opt instead to splurge our cash on the more status-minded SUV. Even though in a lot of those cases, the SUV in question won't ever be used for anything even remotely sporty. Be that as it may, this may be the last A4 Avant that we'll see in this country. The big downside to that would be we'd have to say goodbye to one of the nicest looking cars, not just in its class but on the road, and our test car with its optional 19-inch wheels looks spectacular. The upside, if there could be an upside, would be as a last hurrah, that is a very good one. With the recent facelift in front, a sleek profile and fantastically sculpted rear, the Avant is impressive from every angle. Not because it's big or aggressive, but because it disguises its basic function, moving people and luggage, with an exterior that is so classy. For me, there is a very strong argument to have this car over an A4 sedan, not only because it's a lot more rare, but because it somehow manages to wear the look a lot more effectively. Plus, on the inside, you get all the usual A4 bits and more room. The only optional extras on our test car worth mentioning are the navigation and the Bluetooth, but as for the rest, it's all the usual well-finished, well-executed Audi interior. Good ergonomics mixed with top materials to create an interior that remains, even after all this time, hard to beat. The MMI system also has some new tricks. It now has a dedicated SIM slot, and the navigation system uses 3G to link up with Google Maps. The real bonus of that is that you no longer have to wait for Audi to update their navigation system. You can find your way anywhere using the internet. Boot space for the Avant is unsurprisingly generous, more than enough room for school bags, shopping, a pair of Great Danes. Helping you shift things along is an engine that, on paper, seems a little bit modest. It's a 1.8-litre four-cylinder, but with 125 very smooth kilowatts and 320 Newton-meters. Driving the A4 Avant is almost effortless. The other engine option in the lineup is a 130 kilowatt diesel, but with looks this smooth, why ruin it by having a farm animal pull you along? In this car, you get the sense very quickly that Audi have built something that does what other station wagons do, but with a few added benefits. Before we get to those benefits, there is something quite unstation wagony about this car. It's the ride setup, which is surprisingly hard. It's not difficult to live with, it's not horrible, it's just surprising considering what class of car this is. Onto the benefits, starting with the 6-speed manual gearbox. If you discount the fact that it's not entirely convenient for traffic situations, it's bordering on perfect. A great set of ratios and a shift action that makes you want to change gears more often than might be necessary. A good manual gearbox is one of life's simple joys, and the A4 has one of the best. But if you must, there is also a multitronic option available. If you are considering an SUV from a space point of view, there are a few good reasons to think about getting a station wagon instead. They're easier to live with on an everyday basis, they're easier to park, easier to maneuver, and they're more agile. And when it comes to the A4 Avant, there's nothing at the price that drives as well as this car. Your daily commute might just be a complete chore, but thanks to this car, that stress will be alleviated because it is so enjoyable. It is a combination of all its attributes that create the one big benefit of this car. It's a great drive because it's so good looking and comfortable and easy and enjoyable to drive. Unless you're a bundu-bashing scoutmaster parent of 3 who insists on going camping in the middle of Africa every holiday, do yourself a favor and rethink the SUV option, especially if you love driving, because this car is one of the best drives at the price. I said earlier that this car might be on its way out of the South African market, and word from Audi South Africa that at the moment that is just a discussion point, which basically means if they don't sell enough of the things, they will pull the plug. And that means your only A4 station wagon options will be the more niche and more expensive A4 Allroad, which is due here next year. So if you're in the market for a family car, bear this in mind. Our roads are already overpopulated with diesel belching SUVs, and you could help solve that problem and help save an endangered species by buying an A4 Avant. The 1.8-litre turbo engine may seem a little humble, but in tandem with the 6-speed manual gearbox and a sorted chassis, this A4 Avant represents a nicely balanced package. As a result, the A4 Avant presents a very convincing, practical and elegant alternative to those big ungainly SUVs. But Audi need to sell more here to secure its future in the lineup.